discussing finding density. First, we need to ask ourselves, what is density? Density is the mass and volume of an object. To find the density, you must use the density formula. Here below is the density formula. Density equals mass over volume, or D equals M over V. When you're finding mass, it's very simple. Previously, we used to use triple beam balance scales. We no longer use those. Now we use digital scales. So to find the mass, all you would need to do is look at the number on the digital scale. So you place your object on the scale and the scale will tell you the mass. And that mass will be most likely in grams units. To find volume, there are two options. The first is to find the volume of a regular shape, meaning a square or a rectangle, a regular shaped object. You would do this by measuring the length, the width, and the height. So here we have 5 centimeters, 14 centimeters, and 5 centimeters. You would multiply 5 centimeters times 14 centimeters times 5 centimeters to give you a total centimeters of 350 centimeters for this block. That's the volume of this block. So the volume of this block would be 350 centimeters. The second option for finding, let me go back once. Here we go. The second option for finding volume is for an irregular shaped object, or an object that does not have a defined side. So something like a rock that does not have a defined length, width, and height. You're going to use water as the measuring tool. So you have here in this picture 2 graduated cylinders. You're going to start with a known amount of liquid. So on the left side, you see this graduated cylinder has 50 milliliters of water. I'm going to drop a rock into the container, into the graduated cylinder, and I'm going to observe how much the water moved. So this is what we started with, 50 milliliters, and then we dropped a rock into the cylinder, and it made the water move up to 70 milliliters. So what's the volume of that rock, that invisible rock that we dropped in here? It used to be at 50. Now the water went to 70. That means the water went up by 20 milliliters. So your volume for that rock would equal 20 milliliters. Now that you have your mass and your volume, now you can start using the formula to find density. Here is our formula. Density equals mass over volume. So now let's use this block. This is a regular shaped object we're going to find the density of this object. So we don't need a scale because this object already tells us that the mass of this object is 56 grams. They've already weighed it for us and measured it on a scale. So it's 56 grams. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to find the volume. 5 times 14 times 4. So the first step says to find, the first step says to find the mass. Mass equals 56 grams in this case. The second step is to find the volume. And here you do 5 times 4 times 14 to give you 280 centimeters for the volume. The third step is to use the formula. And then the fourth step is to divide and solve. If you were to work the problem out, you would see that with a mass of 56 grams and a volume of 280 centimeters, density is going to equal 56 divided by 280, which is going to give you 0.2 grams per centimeter. When you're doing your division, guys, just like when we're calculating speed, please make sure that you're placing these numbers in the right spot. Remember your cowboy and horse, or however you learned it in math, remember to put it in the correct spot. Okay. All right. Next, we have this graduated cylinder here. We're going to do another example. So this is for irregular shape. So a rock has a mass of 50 grams and the volume is taken by using the displacement method find density. So we know that our mass is 50 grams and then we need to find our volume. We start our container on the left started with 50 milligrams and we added a rock and it went up to 70 milligrams. So the volume equals 20 milligrams. So we know that our volume is 20 milligrams. Now we're going to plug our information into our formula. Mass equals 50 grams, like it says up here. Volume equals 20 milliliters, like we found out from this displacement method. And then we're going to set up our equation. Set up our equation and divide, and that will give you 3.5 grams per milliliters. The last thing I want to review for you guys is the word displacement. You're going to hear that term a lot, displacement, when you're trying to find the volume of an irregular shaped object. Displacement just means that you're using water to find out what the volume is. We want to see how much water is displaced or moved when we drop that regular object into our container. So in this case, we started at 50 milliliters of water. We dropped the rock in and it displaced 20 milliliters of water. So the water went up 20 milliliters. That's what displacement is. You're going to hear that a lot when we're talking about volume. So that's it for finding density.